There are people who read Revelation 9 and close the Bible right away, and with good reason, who wouldn't be unsettled by locusts with warrior-like faces, an abyss that spits smoke, and horses that kill with their breath. But what if I told you that all of this isn't just a dark mystery, but an X-ray of our time? That's right. The truth is that the chapter seems distant, but it's much closer than most dare to imagine. The mistake many make is thinking these frightening figures are just allegories of a distant future, when in fact, they speak about things that are already happening, inside you, in your environment, in the society around you. And if you want to understand what's really behind these symbols, without cheap mysticism but with depth and clarity, then stick around, because what comes next might flip the switch on a lot of things you thought you understood. There's a moment when silence seems louder than any scream. When the fifth trumpet sounds, the scene changes. Someone falls with a key and opens what no one should ever open. It's as if the world holds its breath and the darkness exhales. That key represents something beyond the literal. It's the temporary permission for chaos to act. And you know what? In real life, there are also moments when everything seems to collapse, and we need to understand that sometimes God allows the smoke to rise to reveal what was hidden in the dark. The opened abyss isn't just a symbolic hole, it's the release of what was contained, but under a set time limit. It resembles those moments when we lose control, but deep down, nothing is outside the plan. Have you noticed how some crises reveal more than they destroy? Burnout, for example, can flip the switch on a transformation if it's faced with awareness. Instead of running from the abyss, maybe the secret is learning from it, especially because what comes out of it doesn't come for nothing. Now picture the scene. Out of the abyss comes a swarm that doesn't just make noise, it torments. They roar like tanks of war and sting like scorpions, but they don't kill. This is almost a mirror of certain seasons of life when pain doesn't destroy, it just persists. That anxiety that doesn't kill you but robs you of sleep. Or that relationship that doesn't end, yet hurts every day. It's torment with a deadline, but without a truce. The most unsettling detail. People want to die, but they can't. This says a lot about our generation, which seeks escape before seeking healing. Pain comes as a warning, not as punishment. Have you tried seeing pain as a teacher and not an enemy? Try writing down what you feel, talking to someone wise, or even seeking spiritual counseling. Because when pain exposes the heart, the answer isn't to run. It's to listen to what it's screaming. In the midst of that noisy chaos, a figure appears who doesn't shout but silences everything. Abaddon. He doesn't rush in. He doesn't give a speech. He's just there, and that's enough to freeze the room. The weight of his presence is that of the leadership of chaos, and look, even the destroyer with all his air of power only acts when God's clock says go. This teaches something brutally liberating. Even evil has a boss, but that boss has a boss. Nothing escapes divine supervision, not even what scares you most. You know that toxic leader at work? That situation that seems uncontrollable? It may look like chaos has won, but there's a set time and a line it doesn't cross. And if even Abaddon respects the higher sovereignty, who are we to think life is just out there, loose and without direction? Take a deep breath, because the march of judgment isn't over yet. With the sixth trumpet, 4 angels that had been shelved in time are released. The scene is like an ancient map coming to life, with ancestral forces marching from the east. It looks like prophecy but smells like reality. How many times in life do we feel that something that was stuck for years suddenly breaks loose? An old trauma, an unresolved story, a pattern that repeats without asking permission. The Euphrates bursts, and what comes from there carries centuries of tension. It's not just about destruction, but about release. It's like opening a dam that held waters that were too heavy. Sometimes a drastic change in your life may seem destructive, but it's just the natural course of what had been accumulating. Want an example? That decision to quit a job after years of frustration, or that end of a cycle that seemed like it would never come. These are judgments that also set free. And the most curious part, all this happens at the exact time. Not before, not after. The sound of the hooves of that cavalry isn't ordinary. It's the noise of judgment arriving at full volume. Horses that unleash fire, smoke, and sulfur, and a third of humanity simply vanishes. It's intense, it's harsh, but it's not just about the end, it's about warning. Have you noticed how sometimes the greatest tragedies make us stop, reflect, change course? An accident, a loss, a scare in a health exam, their horses roaring at the door of the soul. The most striking detail here isn't the destruction, but the coldness of those who survive and don't repent. The human heart, even in the face of chaos, can remain indifferent. This says a lot about the times we live in. So much noise, so much pain, and so little inner change. The question that lingers in the air is simple. What else needs to happen for us to wake up? Because even in the midst of smoke and sulfur, the door of mercy remains ajar, waiting for a response. Now tell me, what are you going to do with everything you just learned? Will you keep it as just another biblical curiosity, or will you let this vision push you toward real transformation? Because Revelation wasn't written to scare, it was written to awaken. And if even the abysses have an appointed time to open, maybe your time to change is now. What keeps you from facing your inner darkness? Pride, fear, indifference? It's time to stop running from pain and start listening to what it wants to tell you. If something poked at you throughout this video, drop a comment below. Which part hit you the most? And of course, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and come keep learning, because what we've seen here is just the beginning.